As you might know, Korea is very well known for its another level cafe game. There are even travelers that come to Korea solely for the purpose of visiting cute, hip, exotic, and hilarious cafes. Indeed, Korea loves its cafe culture as the young and old all like to chill and hang out at good cafes. However, while 90% of the YouTube videos out there are about exploring interesting, hidden Korean cafes, I assure you, when you're actually in Korea, the areas you're living in won't always have those interesting and hip cafes. Instead, you'll have a bunch of franchise cafes to choose from on every block. And I'm not even kidding, block by block you'll see different types of franchise cafes, even side by side. So today I'm here to bring you a different type of cafe video, a totally practical one, to let you know which franchise cafe is the best and where to go price-wise, drink-wise, and purpose-wise. Number 1, Idea Coffee. Idea Coffee is like your everyday cafe. You can see it around every corner, and according to statistics, it has the most stores in Korea. Also, it greets you with a friendly blue sign, and you can go to this cafe without being dressed or being fancy, just to have a nice conversation with your friend or just do some work. It's good for students because the price is very affordable, and it was once known as the cheapest coffee franchise in Korea, but over the years throughout expansion, the price has slowly increased. Despite that, the price is still pretty cheap. While you have a lot of creative menus and snacks as well, the taste itself isn't really premium. The coffee is just okay enough to entertain you while you're talking or doing work, and Idea itself doesn't aim for a premium brand in the first place, so the price or interior of the cafe is pretty normal. It just has a bright tone feel with wooden desks and chairs, and if it's not a cushion seat, the small wooden chairs and desks might get a little uncomfy if you're there for a long time. However, it actually provides a very good spot to do your work because from my experience, it has sockets near pretty much every seat. And also, as I mentioned, because people have a very comfortable bond to the brand, it's a very ordinary place for people to do their work without being conscious of others. And a fun fact about Idea is that back in the day, believe it or not, there were sayings that Idea used to do this strategy of locating its stores right next to every Starbucks in order to grab the different customer base. Many people actually thought this was true and effective because there's usually an Idea very close to a Starbucks, and also people on a budget would go to Idea on second thought after debating which cafe they should go to. Number 2, Starbucks Korea. Oh, well, I guess Starbucks is just Starbucks. It's pretty much the same everywhere in the world, but I guess I'll just provide you with how Koreans perceive the brand. First of all, next to Idea, Starbucks literally can be found everywhere. It gets even worse in office areas or busy downtown streets. You won't find them in relatively poor areas though. We actually have the phrase "스세권," which means you live within a Starbucks radius, which is supposed to somehow boost your quality of life, and which actually does boost up your house prices. Real estate experts say that it's because Starbucks just chooses the most expensive places in the first place. Anyway, Starbucks is perceived as a pretty fancy brand in Korea. There's also a saying that only young women or business people go to Starbucks and work with their MacBooks. And yeah, the price is pretty high compared to other coffee shops, and the menu variety is just on the standard level. There aren't really a lot of experimental menus. The taste is pretty much standard, it doesn't go wrong, the atmosphere is pretty chill and premium, and people just do business or chat more than studying or work. Of course, if you go to a less busy part of Seoul and a Starbucks there, you'll see it full of people not talking and just working on their laptops. I personally don't understand working in Starbucks because usually the space is not optimal for working. Sometimes the chairs are like sofas, the desks are low, there aren't as much sockets. So unless you want to feel that, oh, I'm that person that studies in Starbucks with a MacBook gratification, I wouldn't go there personally. But yeah, for business or just casual talk, it's pretty good. Number 3, a TWOSOME place. Yeah, I know you're already laughing at the name of the cafe. I thought it was weird too at first. However, the brand name means a place where it's always good for a person, 2 people, and also some people. Whatever. I would say that you can find a TWOSOME place here and there, definitely not as much as Idea or Starbucks, but if you just walk around the neighborhood, you'll find one eventually. The price of the beverages are pretty much as the same as Starbucks. I think the taste of the beverages are actually on Starbucks standards as well, and TWOSOME coffee and drinks don't fail you. Pretty standard. Also, TWOSOME is very well known for its delicious cakes, so try them out. The atmosphere is pretty cozy in my opinion, and usually TWOSOME places are pretty spacious. I don't know why, if they have like a company rule or something, but the stores I've been to have always been on the bigger size among cafes. That's why you get that comfy vibe along with the yellow and warm lights. Also, there's this some kind of industrial feel that adds on to the interior, so that's a plus. And And I feel like, as funny as it may be, TWOSOME has actually fulfilled its name's meaning. If you go to TWOSOME Place, there's usually a good mix of people from all ages, either chatting, doing business, working, reading, and etc. I personally think that it's because of the size of the cafe. Many people just come in and don't have a hard time finding a seat for their purpose of visit. Also, because it's spacious, there are obviously a lot of places to work and plug your cords as well. Number 4, YOGERPRESSO. So I'll be honest, I haven't been to a lot of YOGERPRESSOs that much, maybe a few times. I think it's because of the image that they specialize in yogurt-based drinks. Throughout the years in Korea, I haven't seen this brand that much, but definitely it is popping up here and there at the moment. However, apparently the price of YOGERPRESSO is incredible, as it is even cheaper than Idea coffee. And surprisingly enough, well, I don't know about the coffee, it's just so-so, but the yogurt drinks are really good, and there's like a ton of menus you can choose from. Also, they have a lot of experimental, colorful snacks and desserts as well, so high points for that. However, one downside would be that relatively the YOGERPRESSO stores I've been to are pretty cramped. I think it's natural because their menus are very cheap, so maybe they choose smaller spaces, I don't know. The interior isn't that bad, but isn't excellent or exciting. It reminds me of the early Idea stores that were pretty budget. Also, the tables aren't that big, making it hard to study or work there. Number 5, Angel in Us. Honestly, Angel in Us is my personal least favorite among the franchise cafes. First, the accessibility isn't that good. In the old days, I'd seen a lot of them, but I think they've slowly been decreasing in number. These days, I only see them in either super busy districts or some Lotte department stores or rural areas. And also, the prices are relatively higher than other cafes, which don't really have the best taste as well. Maybe that's just me, because just to be objective, according to some articles, Angel in Us was chosen as the cafe with the best Americano taste by baristas. Also, it showed the best taste balance among other drinks as well. The interior is pretty dull and boring in my opinion. Some people might think the dark brown theme gives a certain comfy vibe, but for me it just feels a little bit too heavy. It's just too dark inside there. I think they're trying to rebrand these days into a brighter and cleaner look though. Also, they used to have these weird chairs that I don't really like. Thus, overall, accessibility, interior, and price-wise, I don't think it's an optimal place to go and do your work. I've noticed that a lot of adults just go to talk and so. Number 6, Holly's. Now here's my favorite. I might be biased, so take that into account. But while Holly's Cafe isn't found everywhere, once you get there, the vibes and customer-friendly space just makes up for all of that. You'll probably find them in every busy district, and while many cafes have stopped doing 24-hour opens, Holly's is among the few franchises that still maintains that 24-hour policy, restricted to some big Holly's in busy areas like Gangnam, Hongdae, Hapjeong, and more. That is already a big plus. The price of the coffee might be slightly high, maybe Starbucks level, but it's still reasonable, and also Holly's has some good dessert menus as well, like sandwiches, Italian food, cake, and bingsu. Some people actually just take care of their meals there. And the interior is totally my style. It's very bright, clean, and the spaces are very wide, just like TWOSOME Place. Honestly, most of the Holly's I've been to are either large or gigantic, as in like 3 floors. Also, Holly's specializes in customers who would like to work, study, or just chill because they have designated studying desks with sockets and privacy and sofas for people to just sit and watch YouTube or whatever. No wonder it has the nickname a library with a red roof. Just to be biased and put a cherry on top, the Holly's in my neighborhood has a separate dog section where you can actually bring your dog and play with other dogs as well, and this honestly bought my heart. So I'm actually editing this video right now at Holly's. I'm not sponsored by Holly's or anything, but I'd like to introduce you to the sponsor of this video, which is a very helpful site called Skillshare. You might have noticed I love to work at cafes. I usually plan all my YouTube videos here, and when I'm stuck, I go to Skillshare. For example, a class that really helped me was MKBHD's YouTube Success, Script, Shoot, and Edit, taught by Marcus Brownlee. Today, one tip I learned from the class was that you need to plan your visuals too, as in specifically pre-designing shots to help the audience really get what you're trying to show or portray. So with Skillshare, you can enjoy thousands of inspiring classes for creators within the online learning community, and you can explore new skills, boost your passions and creativity as well. Classes include topics such as illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more. And it's curated specifically for learning, meaning no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes, so you can continuously upgrade your creativity and skill sets. Most importantly, it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription, and the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description below will get a free trial of premium membership. Now let's go on back to the cafe tour. Okay, from now on, I'll just quickly run through the remaining franchise cafes with their essential points. Number 7, COFFEEBAY. I think its specialty is being cheapest among all cafes. It uses its own roasted beans, and also it's expanding its business rapidly, so you're bound to see more COFFEEBAYs in your area in the future. Furthermore, it's currently being called the next Idea coffee, so if you want to seek something similar to Idea, then COFFEEBAY is the place to go. Number 8, Caffè PASCUCCI. You really can't find a lot of these cafes other than in business districts or malls, and it's quite pricey. The interior though looks quite strong and premium, and it's pretty spacious and comfy to work in. It's very nice for business meetings as well. Number 9, BASSETT. You can only find these in fancy areas or buildings, and it pursues this premium quality space and coffee. Currently, it's the most preferred cafe amongst 30 to 50s, and it's the fastest growing premium coffee franchise brand. It's managed only directly by HQ, so the quality is tight. I personally think it's not really a studying atmosphere, while you will see some people studying there. I think mostly a lot of people just come after their meals just to chat and feel the premium vibes. So that was it. I hope you got a grasp of what Korean franchise coffee shops are like. Again, this video was based on my personal opinion, so I recommend you exploring each franchise brand and making your own favorite cafe list. Also, if you've ever been to any of these cafes in Korea, please share your experience down in the comments so that other people can see it as well. And also don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this video. Last but not least, if you enjoyed this video and want more of it, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/DKDKTV, where you can get exclusive content and also talk to us directly about your Korean experiences.